and the Beast. It's worth the price of admission just for the musical number Be My Guest. Because they threw about $500 million at that musical number alone.
And they say Gaston carries the movie.
A lot of people have also said that Luke Evans is the best villain. And just
That's
great.
right. I'm going to get the Facebook chat up, so you start the show.
Sounds good to me. You get the Facebook chat up, and we'll start the shoe. It's a really good shoe. We're going to have a really good shoe. Well, how about that? Wow. Right. Oh, hey. Oh, hello. Look at me. And look at you. Hello, everybody. Hello. We have an entire live audience come to join us. Hey there. There's Ellen. Ellen's going to be in our chat room. Hello, Brazil, and from Spain. And hello, everybody in the world of Instagram. Instagram. Pow. You're here. But you're not the only folks here. There's a live chat going on Twitter. Twitter Live. Hello, Canada. Hello, Poland. Wow. Good evening, everyone. Yes, I hope all is well. It's good to see you. Hello, Portugal. Lovely to have you on the show. This is Torn Tuesday. We might as well get started, everybody. We've got people from around the world watching. We've got a live stream on Twitter Live, Facebook Live, Instagram Live, and on Ustream. And we used to be on Twitch, right? Didn't we used to be on Twitch? And we're also every week coming to you live from Meltdown Comics, live broadcast. My name is Clifford Broadway. Hello, everybody. Look at that shiny bald head. How shiny is that? So to protect you from the glare, the reflective glare, hello, Alberta, Canada. I'm going to protect you from the glare of my shiny bald head. My name, as you may or may not know, is Clifford Broadway, and I'm one of the writers and folks right there at thewondering.net. Sweden! I love Sweden. I was actually there in Sweden a couple of years ago, and I learned how to speak Swedish by listening to the trains. The subway would say, Nästa Karlaplan. And then the train would say, Nästa Gamla stan. And all the other spots, so I knew where I was going, and I just kept repeating what the lady's voice was. Maybe the lens has a smudge? No, it doesn't have no smudge. It's got a shiny bald head. Hello, Croatia. Hello, United Kingdom. Hello, everybody. Oh, look, there's a lot of chat rooms that I'm looking at. There's Facebook. There's Kaylin Griffin. Well, hello there. Look, I can see all the nice folks joining us right now. It's Dave Gentry. Right. That's awesome. Welcome, everybody, to thewondering.net. As always, we're very proud of our expansive J.R.R. Tolkien fan community. We have such a loving family from all around the world. Hello, Glendale. Well, hello from Glendale. Wow, you're right down the road. We're here in Los Angeles. Oh, Istanbul. How about that? So we've got people in the live chat. 1, 2, 3. There's 3 different live chat screens, and it's an interactive show because, you know, thewondering.net likes to get all of you fans involved. Take a look here. I wish you happy birthday. Yes. Happy birthday, 1 day early. Justin is going to come in here and join me in just a minute. Here's his dwarven hat. This is his, boffer. He's got his boffer hat. And thewondering.net is very happy to come here live. Hello from Shanghai and from Mexico. Wow, that's brilliant. So we've got viewers from all around the world. We've got a bunch of folks watching us on Facebook Live. This is fantastic. And we're going to talk about, hello, Denmark. Good to see you, too. It's funny, the Danes and the Swedes never got along. And it's funny, there's a bunch of Swedish people and Danish people in the live chat. Don't start this European war now. You know how much, I know how much the Danes and the Swedes, and, you know, even the Norwegians. The Norwegians what you'd call it a rivalry, I guess, between Norway and Sweden. But there's also a bit of a rift between Argentina and Chile. All of our boys down in South America, they've got a little rivalry going on between the Chileans and the Argentinians. But don't cry for me. I'm coming to you live from Meltdown Comics here in the heart of Hollywood. Welcome to our excellent show. We're going to talk about J.R.R. Tolkien, who just made an appearance in Legends of Tomorrow that was just on. That's right. We Danes used to own Norway and Sweden. Yeah, well, that's ancient history. F-R-O-D-O. You guys follow me on that? Yeah, there it is. It's on the screen, floating across my head. Another great place to watch the show. You guys are kind of watching right here without the green screen being filled in behind me, right? Hey, how you doing? Flower-crowned hobbit, good to see you. If you're going to go to theonering.net/live, you'll be able to see this green screen filled up behind me, and you'll be able to see everything that's going on. Justin's about to walk into the frame. Yes, hi. Good to see you, weird artist always. Stay weird, and stay fabulous. We love you guys. In the other chat room, there's Erovandi, Ellen Design. There's Sarah. Hello, Sarah Von Hauer. And there's Dave Gentry. Please inform Justin that the sound isn't working very well, and broadcast keeps stopping. All right?
You're awesome. Anybody see that episode? Am I the only hobbit in the room who actually saw The Legends of Tomorrow? Absolutely fabulous. I love that show. Ab Fab was a really funny show with Joanna Lumley and Jennifer Saunders. Back in the 90s, that was probably the gayest show that was ever broadcast. Absolutely fabulous. It was a really fun show. It was hilarious. It was crazy. Lots of slapstick. Lots of very broad humor. That was a great, great fun show. Oh, you just met Graham McTavish at Collective Con this weekend. He is an awesome guy. That's pretty cool that you met Graham McTavish. I met him once at a bar. No, two dwarves walk into a bar, and one dwarf says to the other one, "Hey, did you hear the one about us?" Anyways, that was the joke.
I've never heard a dwarf joke.
Never heard a dwarf joke that you liked. Justin's here, everybody.
Hi.
How you doing there, guy? Oh,
did
no!
It work?
Party foul.
Is the audio fixed, everybody?
Party foul.
Sound is good now.
Sorry.
Hey, Kay, I appreciate all the comments you've been making on our Facebook posts recently. It's wonderful to see that you're having a great time watching Beauty and the Beast and so many wonderful things. There's just so much good. If you're a Tolkien fan, it's a great time to be doing what we're doing.
Yes, it is.
Because, like, this weekend is WonderCon Anaheim. It's put on by the San Diego Comic-Con people. And it's probably one of the biggest conventions, probably the fourth or fifth biggest convention. It's in Anaheim, across the street from Disneyland. A lot of people go to WonderCon, and then they go to Disneyland on Sunday and Monday.
Yes, they do. Yes.
So WonderCon, we've got a panel Sunday morning at 10:30. At WonderCon.
Oh boy!
And boy howdy, do we have stuff to talk about? Because
yes,
what year is it? It is 2017.
It's 2017,
which means that it's the 80th anniversary.
Can't even.
Of
The Hobbit.
Cliff.
That's right. No, I'm not. I'm not that old. I might be older than him, but I'm not that old. Don't you even? Guys, don't believe a word. He's just being a buffoon. As usual. The man is a buffoon.
Diane Theo says, I will be missing WonderCon this year, but we hope to see some other of you. Weird Artist Always is on Instagram. Again, we're streaming everywhere. We're on Instagram here. We're on Twitter, Periscope, Facebook, and at theonering.net/live. If you want to join the chat room that you see right there, you got to go to theonering.net/live.
Thanks.
And that's
Thanks.
Where,
I look amazing for 80. Yeah,
that's
I'll
where
take
the chat shows up over there.
Yep, that's right. Still a baller.
So,
that's true, Emily. Quite right.
So it's we've got a lot. We've got a lot to talk about at the panel. So we're not going to spoil it. But we're really excited about the 80th anniversary because it's the 80th anniversary of The Hobbit. We've got Beren and Lúthien coming out, a new edition illustrated by
Alan Lee.
And
The extraordinary Oscar winner, Alan Lee.
And
Yes.
speaking of illustrators,
Yes.
if you were on our Facebook page this weekend, you would have been able to chat with John Howe, who jumped in on our Facebook page.
Yes,
He did. We posted about John Howe's love of the Argentinian and the Chilean Patagonia mountains.
Mm-hmm.
The southern end of the Patagonia is where it's very rock and craggy and snowy and,
Yes.
and falls into the ocean.
Yes.
And John Howe says that Patagonia will always represent the land of Beleriand and the part of Middle Earth.
Yeah.
And so we posted that old quote of his, and boy oh boy, John Howe shows up and
Yes, he does.
shows off a picture
Yes, he did.
of the Chilean Patagonia. How amazing is that? We've got so many Chileans usually here on the Instagram chat.
And we also have a lot of Chileans here at Meltdown Comics for one reason or another. That's because the store is family owned and operated. It's a mom and pop store, and we're so glad that they're hosting us. Here, Meltdown Comics, the center of the geek universe in Los Angeles, and there's a bunch of Chilean guys running the shop, and they're just great people. And hello, thanks for the hearts. That's awesome.
Caroline in the chat room says, any possibility you guys would ever think about coming to Great Philadelphia Comic Con? It's in Oaks, Pennsylvania. You know what? We've actually got staff members in Allentown, Pennsylvania.
We do. We do have
and
staff in Allentown.
all around the Great Lakes region. That'd be a great question. Email that to the site. Just go to the onering.net and just search for Contact Us. Fill out the form. Send an email. And it'll go to the right people saying, "Hey, you guys should do this."
Yes.
And include a link to the convention page, because we're always interested in doing more conventions and connecting with more fans. That's why we do WonderCon. That's why we do so many ones. I don't know what we're doing with DragonCon because they canceled the Tolkien track for the first time in its history. So
yeah, that's a bit bizarre.
And it's weird that they're canceling it on the 80th anniversary of The Hobbit and the year that Beren and Lúthien come out. And, there's just so much...
You need to stop making so much sense, Justin.
If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. And Tolkien fans did not make dollars for DragonCon.
Thank you, yeah. Thanks, Oski. Oski 1983. Yeah, I love my t-shirt,
What about Comic-Con Portugal?
Yes.
Badass. If they fly me out, I will come to Portugal.
Yep.
My passport is ready. Is your passport ready?
Always.
Passports are ready. Me and Cliff will come out. I don't know a lick of Portuguese. But we will host a convention. Yes, fly us out, and we'll be there. I need to fix the chat room.
Gotta go fix the chat room. Yeah, please do fix the chat room.
You're really laughing.
It's very funny because I just can't imagine you licking anybody who was Portuguese. Oh, Lord, help me. You were just asking a question in Instagram. Just want to know if most Lord of the Rings fans are male in Los Angeles? No. As a matter of fact, most Lord of the Rings fans that we meet at every location, wherever we go, whether it's in New Zealand or in North America, anywhere, most fans are female. Tell you the truth, most of the ringers that I have met are usually women. So no, there's no precedent at all. It's the opposite. Most Lord of the Rings fans are actually women.
Mayor Gamgee says, Justin, I chalk it up to bad timing. What? I missed the rest of that. Hannah Took says, hi.
Hi,
Justin
Hannah.
will read
Oh
the
my gosh,
Hobbit
there's
before
Hannah.
he learns Portuguese. And that says a lot.
Yes, you should. Kay says, you guys should come to Alamo City Con here in San Antonio.
I'll go. I like Texas.
I'd be down. Yeah. You know, every time I go to Texas, they treat me wonderfully. I was able to take my documentary film, Ringers, Lord of the Fans, and 12 years ago, we got admitted to the USA Film Festival at Dallas, Texas, and had a great time in Dallas. And every time I've been to Houston, Dallas, and even in Austin, people treat me wonderfully. I always have a great, great time when I'm in Texas.
Flower-crowned Hobbit? Who's Flower-crowned Hobbit on Instagram?
I don't know, but a lovely fan.
So many chatters. Worthy Lennar? The thing I love about Instagram is
Worth Eleanor. That's Worth Eleanor.
It's trying to figure out how you pronounce their names.
That's true. Where are you, bro? We're in Los Angeles. We are broadcasting to you,
I want to talk about the dragons.
everyone around the world, coming to you from the heart of Hollywood.
Well,
we're right here.
We were just
in
starting
Hollywood.
to talk about dragons because if you go to our Facebook page at the facebook.com/thewanderingnnet, John Howe talks about that the Chilean Patagonia represents Beren and part of Middle Earth, and the image that we posted was actually not John Howe image. There was that picture is illustrated by Ted Naismith.
Yes.
And it is a picture of the death of
Glaurung?
Glaurung.
Yes, one of his famous images.
Yeah.
I love that.
And so basically we're saying that the Chilean Patagonia represents the death of Glaurung, and the era and area that it represents is very, very dinosaur fantastic down there. I've always wanted to go to Patagonia.
Oh, me too. It's really great. I'm so down for that. So to keep up with all the chat, you guys are welcome to use any one of our many formats: Periscope, Instagram, Twitter Live, Facebook Live, and of course, go to theonering.net/live, and you'll be able to see what the Instagram people are not seeing. They're looking at the unfinished green screen, and right behind us, it just looks like a big wall. But
it's magic.
Wait a minute, Irish Kilt. Who said we won't be at C2E2? We usually are. There's no one saying that the OneRing.net is not going to be at C2E2. We often are. We've got staff who live right there in the Milwaukee, Chicago area, and every year they go down there representing. So I think the OneRing.net is just as likely to be at C2E2 in Chicago as we are every year. Yes, we love Torn. Thank you, Flower Crowned Hobbit. Now, for you folks who are watching, look at that. You see that? That mystery magic number that's floating across my head. You guys can't see it, but it's right there. 530, number 6, number 4, FRODO. Call the hotline. Be part of the show. You can be part of the show. Text us a message. 530-64-FRODO. For Frodo. It's always for Frodo.
That's really our phone number.
That's our phone number. So, Legends of Tomorrow was broadcast.
I didn't watch it. Did you watch it? Did you see Tolkien?
I didn't watch it until several days later when I was less busy.
Well, that's Live Plus 3.
It's Live Plus 3? Yeah. I watched it later.
Industry slang, if you don't know.
Yeah, but I'm not going to do Warner Brothers any favors and, promote it anymore. We've done enough promoting their show.
You can never promote Tolkien enough. Stop with your negativity.
There's no negativity.
I'm supposed to be the negative
I'm just saying that, we had an opportunity to give Warner Brothers Television hundreds of thousands of extra views and to bring, 33,000 people from our weekly show who love watching Torn Tuesday and are really energized about catching, the performance was worth watching because Mr. Jack Turner, I will give him props. I'll give an extra gold star to the young actor. He's now, to be honest, ladies and gentlemen, he ain't my type, but he did bring a certain gentility to the part of playing J.R.R. Tolkien. And it was very, very good to see Tolkien as a character suddenly appear in the narrative. And it was a lot of malarkey because, there's no way that J.R.R. Tolkien would have accepted the fact that he was on, a 2017 spaceship that can time travel across Earth and back and go to lots of different times. I've never
watched the show, so tell me what happened in the show.
Well, in the show, it has been part of a long building story arc that the characters are trying to get all the pieces of the Spear of Destiny. The Spear of Destiny is famous in Christian mythology as being the weapon that was held by a Roman soldier and pierced the abdomen of Christ while he was being strung up on the cross.
Oh my goodness.
So the Spear of Destiny is also featured in the Keanu Reeves movie Constantine for the same reason. It is it's like an artifact from Christian mythology that allegedly has a lot of mystical power. So it's used as a MacGuffin in the TV series Legends of Tomorrow.
And some would argue it's a MacGuffin in all of history.
It's used as a MacGuffin in a lot of stories and in the movie Constantine.
Including the original story that described it.
Even so.
It might just be a MacGuffin.
Could be a MacGuffin, yeah. So there it is. The actors in Legends of Tomorrow are looking desperately to find a way to destroy the... Yeah, so what they do is they have Wentworth Miller, or what's-his-face, blow fire.
Wait, Wentworth Miller from...
Prison Break.
Prison Break is in this show?
Yeah, actually, the two lead guys from Prison Break are now reunited together in Legends of Tomorrow, playing totally different characters.
I totally want to see this now.
Yeah, so anyways...
He was great in that movie with Anthony Hopkins.
Yes, maybe so. Whatever he's talking about.
If you see a movie called with Wentworth Miller and Anthony Hopkins, do not look up the description of the movie. Just watch it.
Christina Turkan7 says that Russian hat being worn by you ... really bothers me. Christina seems to be bothered by this hat, but that's not a Russian hat.
It's a wizard hat.
No, that is a boffer hat that looks like the big boffer things that are flapping on the side.
Russians
it's supposed
will
to look
not
like
invade our show. Unless we're talking about the Russian Lord of the Rings movie that was told from Sauron's perspective.
No, actually what I was talking about was answering your question about Legends of Tomorrow.
Anyway, back to Legends of
and
Tomorrow.
then I want to stop talking about it because I don't want to do Warner Brothers Television any more favors, because Warner Brothers Television turned their backs on us, the fans, and the OneRing.net, and they refused to give us an interview with Jack Turner, even though they had plenty of time to do it. The publicity team at Warner Brothers Television
are very busy.
They were not very cooperative.
They're very busy.
No, they're not that busy. They had weeks and weeks and weeks, and then they gave us this bullshit story that they were not enough time to organize the interview. So even though they had plenty of time, they decided to treat us, the fans, like we were not a commodity worth bothering with. And that is kind of part and parcel, an endemic, a very widespread endemic problem with Warner Brothers as a studio in general, treating their franchises and their fans like their second, like totally second thoughts. So, yeah, well, no, I'm glad you don't like it because, no one is supposed to like talking like this. I don't want to be talking like this.
Look,
this is not the relationship that we want to foster with, them.
Please, we still want to talk to Jack Turner after the final
episode. Well, they declined our interview, and we're not going to get another chance. And you need to remember that this is the studio that sent a 12-year-old little girl a cease and desist letter for her Harry Potter fan site. And all that bad publicity was real. That really happened. And remember that open letter when Suicide Squad came out last year? And there was this widespread viral letter that went all around the internet about how badly Warner Brothers is treating its franchise properties in relationship to the fans and their concerns. Well, it's an endemic problem. And so, I don't want to give Legends of Tomorrow any more free publicity, but I will say this to finish what I was trying to say. They had the guy from Prison Break blow a torch of flame across the Spear of Destiny, and it became a trick like The Ring, where hidden secret words were exposed on the Spear of Destiny because of the flame. So it's just like the ring was tossed in the fire by Gandalf, and Gandalf knew that the flames would tickle out the actual hidden letters on the ring. So the hidden letters on the Spear of Destiny were tickled out, and then we go back in time to World War I, and we got to meet with Professor Tolkien.
Wait, did they stumble on him, or did they meet him in a tent? Did they
Nope.
find him on the battlefield?
They actually deliberately went to go and find him because he wrote a paper about Sir Gawain, and Professor Tolkien did write other papers about Sir Gawain. It was called Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, and there was the allegation that Tolkien was aware that a very valuable piece of this MacGuffin that could destroy the Spear of Destiny, which is what the heroes want to do, destroy the Spear of Destiny. So they go to find Tolkien out in the battlefield of France. You know what's funny? They could have gone back in time and could have found him at some other point in his history when things were peaceful and quiet. But instead, they had to go right out to the middle of the battlefield because that's where, a secret vial of the blood of Christ was somewhere in the battlefield in the north of France, And it just so happens that Tolkien was there coincidentally. And then, by the end of the episode, Aragorn's famous speech, right? Aragorn's famous battle speech. There may come a time when the hearts of men may fail, but it is not this day. Well, Aragorn's speech got put into the mouth of one of the lead characters. And it ended up, and Tolkien, the character, played very, very well by Jack Turner, because he was so, genteel and erudite, and that's the quality that I would expect Tolkien would be portrayed, as a very genteel and very properly spoken and erudite young British gentleman. And they touched upon some historical facts of him catching trench fever, and then they medically heal him. They heal Tolkien so that he can help them find this missing vial of blood, so that they can destroy the Spear of Destiny. Blah, 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 blah. Anyways,
amazing.
It was an interesting little show, but it was a lot of hokey hokum.
Wait, is he going to be on a second episode?
Unknown. We don't know.
What happens at the end of the episode?
At the end of the episode, we don't even see him again. At the end of the episode, there was some throwaway dialogue where Professor Tolkien was just put back into the battle, and there they go. They put him back, and then we never see him again. So, yes, there you go, guys. In the chat room, everybody's kind of caught up with this. But personally, as a journalist who has given nothing but 17 years of free publicity to New Line Cinema and Warner Brothers, TheWondering.net has been an all-volunteer fan website. All we do is volunteer our time as, journalists, as writers, as fans of Tolkien. We're a volunteer website that has given Warner Brothers nothing but free publicity. And New Line Cinema, they got tons of free publicity from us when we were talking all about the Lord of the Rings films when they first came out. And, as much as I appreciate the efforts of the cast and crew, putting J.R.R. Tolkien as a living person in the middle of a cool comic book action show, it was a lot of malarkey, but it was really kind of fun to see this, and I enjoyed it very much. But, the buck stops here. As Captain Jean-Luc Picard famously said, the line must be drawn here, this far, no further. And I need to show my bald head while I'm talking like Jean-Luc, so that I can be like, bald Patrick Stewart, okay? So I'm not interested in taking any more excuses or bullshit from Warner Brothers Publicity or the people who work at Warner Brothers Publicity. So not interested in this game anymore. After over 17 and a half years of them treating us like we're not real journalists, or treating us like we don't belong, or blah, 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 like we don't deserve to have interviews with their cast and crew, this is where Jean-Luc Picard says, the line must be drawn here. And I'm drawing that line. You know what?
Every time
I'm just saying.
Every time you mention Jack Turner's name, I think of Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, Mr. Turner. Mr. Turner. So,
he's Will Turner.
That's Will. It's a different Turner, yeah.
And we just found out that Henry is Henry Turner. And so Orlando is going to be back. So we've got Legolas back in the new Pirates movie.
Yep.
And who else is in it? David Wenham, Faramir himself.
Well,
is in the new Pirates movie.
There you go.
And guess who else is in it?
Let's see how much more free publicity we can give to Walt Disney Pictures and their upcoming release
Adam
of
Brown,
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Ori and Faramir.
And let's see if they, in turn, let us have interviews with their cast and crew. Let's just see how this... No, this is the exchange. This is how this works. Do you know what this is? This isn't like, hello, you can use us and abuse us and get hundreds of thousands of extra viewers for your show and then treat us like the detritus of yesterday's, interview request. After giving Warner Brothers over 3.5 weeks to get an interview prepared with Mr. Jack Turner, they turned us down with no legitimate reason except we don't have enough time, when they had plenty of time, So I don't buy it. I call BS, and I call it out live on the air, and I'm not worried about it because Warner Brothers doesn't owe me anything, evidently, and I don't owe them anything. So we're going to run this show like a proper fan live stream talking about our passions and our love of J.R.R. Tolkien, and we're going to keep going on forward, talking about the best things yet to come this year in 2017. We will be at WonderCon. We will have a big presence at other major conventions throughout the year, including C2E2 in Chicago. Down in San Diego, we'll be at the major event of the year, San Diego Comic-Con. And then we'll have people at New York Comic-Con. Okay? That's going to be later in the fall, and we have to celebrate the 80th anniversary of The Hobbit this year, 2017. Cheers to the professor, to Professor Tolkien, and I also say cheers to you, to Jack Turner, for being the very first person ever to play Tolkien on camera. He's an awesome guy, and he was very, very erudite. However, I was not satisfied with the way that they finished his character off, and we didn't get to say goodbye to him properly. So, we'll see that. Ellen, oh, it's Emily. Hey, Emily. Nice to see you, Emily, in the chat. Cliff, why not ask Andy to come on and interview him about Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, and about the upcoming Planet of the Apes? Yes, Emily, I would love to do an interview. We'll do an interview with Andy Serkis anytime he's available. And who's the studio releasing the Apes films? Is that Lionsgate?
I don't know.
Or is that Sony? Columbia, TriStar.
Maybe.
Who's that?
It might be Sony.
Okay, you guys do me a big favor, and let's look up the brand new Rise of the Planet of the Apes and Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, now going into its third installment, which is going to be Battle for the Planet, or War? Is it Battle for the Planet of the Apes? It's coming up. Really excited about that. Hey, Emily. It's going to be really, really awesome. I love that idea. Andy Serkis gives great interview, okay? He gives great interview, always has, and it's always been a great experience interviewing Andy. Don't you think, Mr. Man?
Yeah, we see him at all the conventions.
Yeah, what you doing there? Doing some number crunching? There's a lot going on in the world of Tolkien, not just within, the fact that, television representations of Tolkien now exist.
Don't threaten me on the chat.
We're past that point.
We do not take threats idly in the chat.
What threat is that?
Hannah Took is threatening us with
hugs?
physical violence.
I'm going to hug you two very tightly when I see you this weekend. Yeah, you know what? I've got a big wedding that I have to do on Saturday, so I'm not going to be there at WonderCon except for Sunday. I'm afraid that I won't be there for Friday or Saturday, but I'll be there for Sunday. How are you getting down there? You driving down there?
I'm not driving you.
Nope. You're not driving me?
No.
I'm just asking you how you are getting there.
I don't know yet.
Okay. But if you're not driving me, then I'm sorry, guys.
I might hitch a ride with Benny the Cab.
All right, Benny the Cab. Isn't that the character from Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Yeah.
That's awesome. You know what? Yeah, it's going to be a really big WonderCon weekend. I wish we had some special guests, but maybe we do. Maybe we don't. Justin is playing World of Warcraft. That's what Dallas says.
Totally.
Oh, okay. What does that say? Just saw the new Kong last week. Liked the Vietnam theme, and Samuel L. Jackson was great. But Peter Jackson's version was so much better. What do you think? I enjoyed Kong Skull Island.
I haven't seen it.
And you haven't seen it? What? No way. I have a hard time deciding. Did I like Peter Jackson's King Kong? Or did I like the new Kong Skull Island, which I really enjoyed?
What if I told you they both live in the same universe? And one is in the 30s and one is in the 70s.
They couldn't be in the same universe because Kong died in the 30s in the Peter Jackson film.
What if that was Kong? What if that was Grandpa Kong?
That's possible, but I don't think it's possible.
That was Grandpa Kong. This is Grandson Kong.
So there are more Kongs. And as we can see on Kong Skull Island, there were more Kongs, actually. But we only see their skeletons. He's the only one left.
I know.
The Kong that's in Skull Island is the only one left.
So Peter Jackson's movie fits in that.
It might. If you want to doctor it that way, it might. Yes, it is pretty good, Flower Crowned Hobbit. I thought Kong Skull Island was really fun. There's not a lot to be said about characters being well written or being likable because there's not much to them. A lot of those characters are just disposable because there's a lot of creatures and monsters that are, killing people left and right. Yeah. Jean Bourgeois says, put the computer down, Justin. Cliff, check the phone. All right, well, I'm looking at the phone. Oh, it looks like we've got a hotline message. Tomorrow's my birthday, and I'm going to be starting a Lord of the Rings half sleeve. Ooh, nice. You're going to do a half sleeve on your arm. That's going to be a beautiful piece of art. That's pretty cool. One or two things besides the ring that should absolutely be in it. I think the monogram of J.R.R. Tolkien. That unique monogram that you find on the side of the Silmarillion, and you also find it inside the combined edition of Lord of the Rings, where all 3 volumes are together in one book. And you can see the J.R.R.T. with the oval around it and the floating sparkly dots. That would be an excellent item to have on your tattoo, the original monogram of the man himself. Oh, should I live stream this tattoo? Well, I'm not doing it. I'm not getting a tattoo. Someone out there is getting a tattoo. Out there. I don't know who. Is that you, Pippin? Pippin of Minnesota? Are you getting that tattoo? I recommend looking up getting Professor Tolkien's monogram. That's something that would absolutely put in. Definitely. Hey, Brittany Larson. Looking fantastic today. How are you, Brittany? Hey, Justin and Cliff. How are you? I'm good.
I'm very good.
I'm really good. I'm really good. Getting ready for a big weekend. There's Wondercon coming up, but I have to officiate a wedding. I've got this wonderful couple, and they rely on me, the man, to officiate their wedding. I'm the guy to do it. Definitely. What does that say? Tomorrow's your birthday, Seth. Wow, we've got lots of birthdays tomorrow. For all the people who are watching this show, happy birthday. I wish you a big happy birthday. Smaug, yeah, Smaug is a great design to include on your tattoo. Yeah. But you know what else I would include? I would include the file of Galadriel. Yeah, that's a really cool thing to have. Whether it's present in a hand, someone just holding their hand out, and it's the glowing file with the light around it, or if you actually include Frodo himself. You know? And yours is April 11th. Okay, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you, Emily. April 11th, that's coming up. Wow, you know, there's a lot of choices that you can have. Sometimes people email me, or they send an email to other staff who are at the One Ring, and they ask, how do I transliterate this from English into Elvish characters? Because I want to have the, you know, look, I've got the Dwarvish tattoo right here. And this is actually in English, and it's transliterated using Dwarvish. See this, guys? See my Dwarvish tattoo? There it is, dwarf lettering. That says ringers, R-I-N-G-E-R-S, in English. But you can also get Elvish on your body that does not say English. It actually is straight Elvish words. Quenya or Sindarin, if you want to do that. Nobody will be able to read it. It's a lot easier to get Elvish or Dwarvish that represents an English word. It's a hell of a lot easier to show people, oh, these represent A, B, C, D, L, M, N, O, P. You know, because 7, 8, 9. I know. The etching on the One Ring. Wait a minute, churn. That is the most popular tattoo design that everybody always gets. The script. The ring script. But that is the most evil phrase in all of Middle-earth, and the language itself represents people, all the races of Middle-earth, being bound to the evil of Sauron's will. I know a lot of people who get the ring script as their tattoo, but the smart move, I really believe, is not to have your body permanently marked with the most evil words in all the history of Middle-earth. You don't want to be bound by the spirit of Sauron or his evil or any of that stuff. If you're going to get any Elvish script, have it say something nicer, like speak friend and enter. Oh, that's another great tattoo design. And it's another favorite that a lot of people do. The West Gate of Moria. And you know, the way that the Fellowship approach it, and all of a sudden Gandalf is like, look, it reflects moonlight and starlight. The West Gate of Moria, which is often referred to as the Hollin Gate. Hollin, because that was the gate that faced outward to the western lands of Holland, which is next to Dunland, right there on that side of the Misty Mountains. When they go to the east, on the east, you know, they end up at, you know, by the Mirror, right? But I kind of dig the speak friend and enter, and I really like Professor Tolkien's design of the doors of Moria on the west gate. That also makes a beautiful tattoo design. That's very good idea. Okay, Mayor Gamgee says the tattoo that the cast has would be a good choice. 9, I think. Yes, sir, that is true. The 9 actors who played the Fellowship, they all equally got the word 9 in Elvish, and they got all that tattooed on them. There was only one person who did not get the tattoo, John Rhys Davies.
But his stunt double did.
His stunt double, who played Gimli's stunt double, yes, he got the tattoo. Was it Kieran Shaw? Okay, now what's up there in the live chat? Brittany Larson says, Cliff, what if you got the shape of the ring? Oh, it just scrolled off. I can't read it now. Yeah, you can get the one ring. Everybody loves getting familiar designs for tattoos. But before we get totally derailed into a tattoo conversation, yes, not even the very wise can see all ends. That is very true. Dallas Barnett, who is one of the actors from The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug, our good buddy, an excellent fellow, Dallas Barnett says, you don't want to get speak friend and enter as a lower back tattoo. Oh, no, you didn't make that joke, buddy. Oh, my God. Oh, my God, no. That's true, Dallas. You do not want that to happen. Oh, my gosh. You do not want a tramp stamp. Unless you get a tramp stamp that says, you shall not pass. That's the only tramp stamp that you want tattooed on your lower back, is the one that says, you shall not pass. There you go. That'll do better. You know, I'm sorry, Dallas. You walked me down that gutter, and you put me in the gutter, so now we had to make the gutter joke. I'm sorry. We're making blue movies over here. Making blue jokes. The pretty blue. What you doing, Misty Mountains, over there? Looking pretty blue, aren't you? So, as it turns out, Justin is AWOL, and I'm going to continue this conversation because everybody on Instagram is laughing my ass off. Everyone's LMAO. LMFAO, baby. Oh my gosh. Somebody had to say that. No, Dallas, nobody had to say that. That was just too much. So, here's what happens. We look forward to so many good things happening this year. I, in particular, am looking forward to the release of Beren and Lúthien because we're going to have a whole new way to relate to the complete story of Aragorn and Arwen, because Aragorn and Arwen is informed by Beren and Lúthien. In fact, they're even related. If you go back that far in time, there's a bit of a family tree that connects that back. Emily? No. No, Emily, I have not seen Logan. Not yet. Sorry. And I have not seen Beauty and the Beast. Not yet. Sorry. Soon, I will. I enjoyed Kong Skull Island, but now I've got to catch up with all these other things. But the Beren and Lúthien, story is just, the sketch of the story, the original manuscript of the story that Christopher Tolkien edited and put together in 1977 when the Silmarillion was first published. But since that point in time, Christopher has discovered that there are more pieces of the story and that his father got further down the road in telling it. We've never seen this stuff before. That's why it's so exciting for Tolkien fans to get a brand new look at the most beautiful and tragic love story in all of Middle-earth. I cannot wait for the book release of the new Beren and Lúthien. Can't wait, because the only version of Beren and Lúthien that I know of is the last one that I read in 1977, okay? I mean, I was just a kid. Now that I'm a little bit older, everybody's going to have access to the complete, real story of Beren and Lúthien, and we'll get to compare versions of it from the old to the newer one and see where Professor Tolkien was actually going and how he was making up his mind as he went along to tell the story in a bigger, truer way. Okay, Mayor Gamgee in the Facebook chat says, so happy that Jackson and team have put a reference to Beren and Lúthien in the Fellowship film. Especially good to know. Where is it? It's not in the theatrical release. Let's make sure that all the folks at home know this. Everybody, you know this, is in the extended version. The extended version of Fellowship of the Ring has a moment where Viggo Mortensen is, singing the lay of Beren and Lúthien. And those details are not quite clear to Frodo. Frodo is like, who are you singing about? What's that? What are you talking about? And Viggo, as Aragorn, is reluctant to say, oh my gosh, this beautiful woman, she died, and he tells Frodo, this is a very sad story, but it's all in the extended edition, absolutely. But I'm telling you, the book is coming out, was it delayed till July? Yes.
June 1st.
June 1st? I thought it was delayed till July. There's different release dates. I'm glad that you guys are asking me. In North America and Canada, the main release date is in June, first week of June. But I've been hearing a lot of rumors that the publisher's delaying this and pushing it back. Okay? So that's what's going to happen. No, I got a text message on the hotline. Did you read The Mortal Engines? Nope. Excuse me. Sorry, I almost laughed in the middle of a sneeze. But no, I have not read The Mortal Engines. I don't have much time to read because my reading stack, including, my comic books, my graphic novels, certain scripts. There are people who want to hire me as a producer because of my familiarity with making indie films and because of my success in making Ringers, Lord of the Fans. And I've had a lot of people coming up to me lately saying, will you help me produce my film? So I've been picking through scripts and having meetings with people about the next project I want to work on. So honestly, I haven't caught up with watching all my Netflix shows. I haven't finished watching Luke Cage. I feel bad about that. I have not finished watching Iron Fist. You know what I mean? I got to catch up on all that stuff. And of course, I'm way behind. The only thing I've been binge watching lately was Guillermo del Toro and his animated series, Troll Hunters, because that was fun. So what's going on in the chat right now? I'm looking at the chat, and people are talking, saying, oh, hi, Cliff. Well, there's my sister. Hey, how you doing, Tiffany?
Yay, Tiffany.
There's Tiffany, my beautiful sister, in the chat room on Facebook. Cliff, Scott Weir. Hello, Scott. It's good to see you. You're a good man. Did you remember, in the theatrical edition, that Gandalf performs the concerning hobbits dialogue? Yes. In the theatrical edition, Gandalf has certain dialogue, and when you watch the extended edition, all that concerning hobbit stuff is moved back over to Bilbo. And Bilbo gets that dialogue that is found, in concerning hobbits. That's in the prologue. That's in the front end of the Fellowship of the Ring, even before you get to chapter 1, as a matter of fact. Seth says that the Lord of the Rings needs graphic novels. Oh, there you go. That's an interesting topic of conversation. I know The Hobbit had one a while back, but nothing for Lord of the Rings. How about that? What do you think? I think that could be really the next thing that we might see as an iteration of the Lord of the Rings being adapted into a graphic novel form. That's just as likely as anything else. And I think that would be kind of awesome. Hello, Peyton Gallagher. How are you? Compare the Silmarillion with Game of Thrones. Nope, not going to do it. Because I would end up talking for weeks and weeks and weeks. We could end up building an entirely different podcast and a different live stream talking about comparing the Silmarillion with Game of Thrones. There are some similarities that can be drawn. It's a lot bloodier. It's a lot more tragic. But, A Song of Ice and Fire doesn't necessarily have as much to compare to the Silmarillion and its cosmology because its forces of metaphysical power are not the same. The gods, both the old and the new, in Westeros and in Esteros, all the gods, the deities, and the powers of religion that are in the political stage in Game of Thrones, they're nothing at all. There's no comparison to the gods and goddesses and the metaphysical structure of the, I'd call it the cosmology of the way Tolkien puts together the Silmarillion. There's not enough of a comparison to go on. But there is a favorable comparison in that there's a greater density, much greater density. In fact, the history of the pre-world of Arda, before it became known as the planet of Arda, and the cosmology of the Valar and the Maiar and all the stuff that happens even before the Silmarils are created by Feanor, and before, Melkor, seeks the Silmarils for himself, and the oath, the terrible oath of Feanor and his kids, the bloodlust to go after the Silmarils, and the kinslaying before Elf killed another elf at the harbor of Alqualonde, even before all that stuff happened. I'm just saying, Game of Thrones has its own crazy political war engine that's going on, and there isn't enough connecting threads between Silmarillion and a Song of Ice and Fire, but I will say that there is something that I appreciate about them that they have in common. I do appreciate that A Song of Ice and Fire has such great density, such a big, dense, thick, bit of narrative storytelling. And that's what happens between both storytelling elements, is that they get very thick, they get very complex, and they get very political, and all that stuff happens, and that's about the end of the comparison that I can make, at this point. Good stuff. Anyways, I really appreciate you guys bringing these points forward, and keep sending messages to the hotline. Hey, if you guys want to be on Skype, and you want to do a Skype call and be part of it, then I'm going to turn on Skype right now. You can be part of this show. Oh, look, there it is, Skype. I'm going to turn it on. But my Skype is now logged in with my personal account, so I'm going to, disconnect and then reconnect as the One Ring. All right, let me signing out of Skype. Oh, look, somebody just sent me a message on the hotline. Oh, Pipsquay, that's a beautiful door plaque. Ha ha ha. Speak friend and enter. That's really cute. I like that. So, a new Middle-earth book is coming out soon. I think I missed that. No, Pippin, you didn't miss it. We've been talking about that on the OneRing.net for months. The new Beren and Lúthien is going to be coming out this summer, and it includes the complete version that Professor Tolkien did not finish, and further conversation about differences between the older and the more complete version, and it's going to be really, really, really cool. Okay, Justin Thomas says, I'm currently teaching 9th and 10th grade English to alternative education students. They have a lot of behavioral problems, and I wish I could scroll up and see. I didn't see the rest of your statement, but I sure would like to see that. Please retype your question. I would really like to see the rest of your question. Okay, Skype is going to come on right here in just a minute, signing in as the One Ring Net. Let me sign in, and then you guys can Skype and be part of this. Okay? I hope that works. Did it work? Yep, it worked. Nope, it didn't work. Oops, problem signing in? Really?
I'm signed in right now. They can call.
Skype? Well, I'm trying to sign in and I can't.
Hello, Miss.
Nice.
Hello.
There you go.
How are you?
Being part of the show right
I'm
now.
fine, thank you.
Cat.
Yep.
What's your
Kitty
cat's
cat
name
come
again?
to say hi. Shadow.
Shadow.
Yeah, that's Shadow. Hey, I hear that familiar voice in the distance. That very
Yep.
familiar voice in the distance. That must be Emily. Hi, Emily. How you doing?
Yep. Hi. I'm doing good, thank you. Other than having a car knock into me the other week by accident.
Oh no, a car crash? I hope you're not hurt.
Wait, you got ran over
No.
by a reindeer?
No, I slipped and landed on the road and a car stopped in front of me and just knocked into me.
Oh dear. Hey,
Yeah.
thank you, Justin Thomas, for finishing that statement. It scrolled off the screen. I couldn't read it. So you just finished The Hobbit, and they loved it. That's awesome. He's teaching, alternative education kids, and the best way that you can get into the mind of a young person that's hard to get into their mind is with J.R.R. Tolkien. That is great to hear.
Facts?
Huh?
Is that like alternative facts?
No. This is a real anecdote from a real person who's telling us that they, had success in going through the Hobbit story with a class full of kids that was harder to get through to them. Well played, Justin. I think that's awesome sauce.
Well,
hello there, Emily. How you doing there?
Round Meltdown encouraged me to try and find a comic, and then when I was online, I found I was watching some unboxings, and I came across Little Marvel's Avengers versus X-Men.
Yeah.
So I ordered it from my local comic book store,
Yeah.
and it just came in today, and I'm looking forward to reading that because I thought it looks cool and fun, and I thought it would be a good comic book to start with.
That's awesome. That sounds like a great comic book to start with. I dig that. I hope everybody out there could hear that. Who are the characters meeting off in this comic that you're getting?
It's a graphic novel. It's the magazines 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's the Avengers versus X-Men.
Oh yeah, Avengers versus X-Men. Oh, you're deep in the Marvel verse, aren't you?
And it's called Little Marvel, so it's like little children version.
Oh yeah, Little Marvel. Hey, we've just added you as picture in picture. So now the people who are watching the live stream, now they can see who I'm talking to. All right, everybody who's watching our live show, there it is. I am talking to this lovely lady right here. This is our friend Emily. Emily, Stargate Geek, do you think that it is really present in Aragorn's mind when he's talking to Frodo about the Beren and Lúthien bit in Fellowship of the Ring? It is very much present in his mind that he is worried that the same horrible fate would befall the woman he loves, Arwen, if things go the same way they go. You can tell that he's acutely aware of that.
Yeah,
Can't you?
I think it's quite complicated. I think he's worried for them. He's worried for himself. He's worried for the future. I think it's a culmination, I think, of a lot of different things that are quite complicated that I don't think even he would probably be able to voice completely out loud.
Yep. Yeah, and you know what?
It's the thing of what happens if everything goes wrong. It's can I do this? It's should I do this? Yeah,
it's true. It's pretty good. It's good stuff. And you know what? I personally will never, ever watch the theatrical versions of The Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit ever again. It's extended or nothing.
Own them.
What?
My dad owns the cinematic theatrical versions of Fellowship and Return of the King, I think, but I don't. I wouldn't even buy them.
Yeah. Well,
I just went straight for the
Ariana. Why did?
It is.
I think they've actually extended editions. I watched. My friend came over to stay at the weekend, and we watched the Battle of the Five Armies, and then one of the extras discs, and we were up till 4 a.m.
Oh, that's great. That's a great night. I love it. I love late night movies with friends. I'm all about that. I love that.
Watching it and eating pizza and garlic bread and that.
Yummy.
That's the life.
Nice. Well, thank you very much again, Emily, for being part of our show. It's really great to have you.
I want Tiffany to call in. If you're still in the chat room, Tiffany, call in.
And we're about to lose our Instagram and restart that stream.
It's so great to see you.
It's always great to see you. It's been a while.
Yeah. Well, I had some work, and I've sometimes been tired, and I just come on when I can. And
you're like our Bilbo. Like you're always there until you're not, and we just think that you're on an adventure.
Sometimes I'm sort of am. I was doing some work experience a few weeks ago, but it didn't work out.
That's wonderful.
So,
well, at least you're trying.
Yeah.
All right.
Been trying for about, well,
Too long.
I think
Then
Way
it
too
should
long.
be.
yeah, too long to get a job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Way
too long.
we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, probably about 7 years I've been looking for a job.
You'll get there. You'll get there.
Keep it going. Keep fighting the good fight, hun.
Yeah.
Great to have you
Well,
on.
I've had temp jobs, just not permanent.
Yeah.
I know what that's like.
Oh, Adam in the chat room.
Thank you, love. Have a great night. We'll
is
catch up
saying,
later.
Yeah.
I think Aragorn
Bye.
may have an excellent understanding of fate, though. He knows the whole story. Beren and Lúthien
Yes.
were fated to face Morgoth.
Yes.
He is fated to face Sauron. Here we go. Is that the same Sarah or is that a different Sarah?
No, the person we spoke with just a moment ago was Emily, not Sarah.
Oh, that's right.
This is a different person.
Go, go, go.
Hey there, Sarah. All right. Beren and Lúthien were fated to face Morgoth.
Hi, who's calling?
It's Pippin.
Pippin!
Hi, Pippin. Oh, there's Sarah. How are you, hun?
Oh, you're the best.
I'm good.
It's so good to see you. Wow.
It's been
He's
so
fated
long.
to face Sauron.
It's been so long. I'm so glad you're calling. How are you?
I'm good. I'm actually on the last hold on. Let me get this door. I'm actually in the last 5 weeks of school, and I'm working on my thesis right now.
Wow, that's great.
And how does it have to do with Tolkien?
How does it what?
How does it have to relate to Tolkien?
It doesn't, but
What do
that
you mean?
explains
Oh,
why I haven't
wait.
been
Give
around.
us your thesis, and we will connect it to Tolkien.
Ha ha ha.
Well, you actually could, because it has to do with World War One. It's how the Ottoman Empire got nationalism and how that affected the beginning of Turkey as a nation state.
Wow. So you're exploring the evolution from the Ottoman Empire to the more modern day nation state of Turkey. Intriguing.
Basically, yeah.
Intriguing.
Turkey is one of my favorite countries in the world. It's one of the most beautiful places I've ever been to. Whether you're going to Istanbul or Ankara, Istanbul is one of the most beautiful, wonderful cities. It feels like the crossroads of the world. There's so many. It feels like LA in a sense because there's so many nationalities. There's so many different types of people. And when I was there, we took a boat up the strait into the Black Sea, and a bunch of bars and clubs have docks. They have you can dock your boat and then walk into the bar or restaurant from your boat, and then park your boat. They got boat valets. It's amazing. I love Istanbul, and Ankara has just so much history, and I wish it was safer to travel there now, but I hope that fixes soon because it's amazing.
I'd like to go there at some point.
Yeah. So it's wonderful to see you. Why are you calling in?
It's great
today?
to see you. Totally
What's on
great
your
to see you.
mind?
No, I figured I'd call in.
Well, for the people who are just watching at home, Pippin here, Sarah, is one of our original audience members who helped us establish a great audience, and I'm kind of thrilled to have you here with us again. It's like, wow, years later, welcome back
When
to
did
the
you
One Ring.
start watching our show?
Oh, I don't know. I've been on the website since I was 13 or 14 maybe, and I'm 25 now. So I've been around a while.
Wowzer.
It's crazy that our website's been around that long.
It is.
Most websites don't last that long.
That's true. Before we lose track of that, Adam, I appreciate your comment about a person who feels like they're kind of entrapped by fate because there is not much choice if things are already fated for you. And Adam, that's a very interesting observation.
I want to ask that. How do you feel about fate? Do you feel like you are destined for something and you're on that path already?
I don't know. I'd like to think that. I don't know how I feel about that, but I know that I'm destined for something greater. That's all I know.
Where do you think your studies in Turkish history are going to lead?
I have no idea. I'm not really expecting much.
I wasn't either with my studies. I decided to do an art degree because a $10 canvas is cheaper than an $80 textbook. So I have a painting degree and a photography minor, and I don't do anything. I don't even own a paintbrush.
Wow, I've never ever heard you say this before. The things I'm learning about my co-host that I didn't know. I didn't know.
Well, I haven't started looking for jobs yet, but I know that from the state historical society, there's jobs all over. Like, I'd have to go all over the state for a job, and the closest one would be about an hour from my house.
It's
So,
baby
I don't know.
steps to the next thing. An hour commute is nothing. I mean, Cliff has an hour commute, and he only goes 2 miles away.
What?
That's L.A. L.A. traffic.
That's LA traffic. Yes. Yes.
So, yeah, it's so wonderful to have you on the show. We miss all of your activity and comments in the chat, and I understand that school can get crazy in the way, and you just have no free time.
Yeah.
Especially right now. Yeah.
Yeah. You're 5 months away.
No, 5 weeks.
5 weeks
away.
Wow.
I graduate on May 5th.
Oh my gosh.
Well then, stop talking to us and, get that paper done. Wow.
Well, my whole rough draft of the thesis was due today, but I only got to the second chapter, and I spent the last 3 days working on it, and I'm tired, so I'm taking a day off.
That's what you need. Mental
Beautiful.
rest makes you stronger.
Beautiful. Good stuff.
At least that's how I justify my slack off.
And I haven't been doing much work on it, so I have to get it done, and I have to give a presentation on it.
Oh, hey, get in front of a room of strangers and talk. That's always fun.
I'm curious if there's anyone in Instagram or the chat room that is from Turkey. I love Turkish viewers. I love Turkey.
Yeah.
I mean, in your studies of the area, does it make you want to visit there, or do you feel it's just more of like a curiosity thing that you've satiated?
I've always wanted to visit there. I want to see the Hagia Sophia more than anything.
For
But
sure.
I know it's kind of dangerous there right now, but it's dangerous everywhere.
Yeah, totally.
Well, it's not as easy to go to Cairo and visit the pyramids like it used to be, it's not quite the same world anymore, but I think that's brilliant that you're keeping the connecting threads coming back to be part of our show. I love that. It's really good to see you, Sarah. It's really awesome.
It's good to see you too.
Super good. Super good.
Have a good night.
All
Bye.
right, we'll talk to you soon.
Lovely to see you. You take care. Now,
Hey, you guys can call us, get on the Skype, and let's see your pretty faces on the Skype. Ariana
course.
Dean, I'm watching you.
yes, Ariana Dean, I wanted to talk to you too because I saw you several minutes ago say that. Yeah, how about that?
Amara Renee in the Instagram says, my cousin is from Turkey.
That's cool.
I've met 3 people from Turkey that were named Burju.
You mean bourgeois?
Burju. Burcu. But the C is pronounced with a Z.
Really?
That's what I remember.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Ariana Dean from Kenya. It's the best to see you. It's so great.
Yeah.
And thank you for loving the show and being on with us every other Tuesday. That's brilliant. Good to have you. And
Emily
Adam,
says,
I appreciate that,
took
Adam.
a GSCE in art graphics. I don't know what that means. Does it mean Great Britain Computer Science Engineering?
GCSE?
I have no. It's like 2 a.m. in Turkey. That doesn't stop anybody from watching our show. Come on.
No, it doesn't.
You guys know. Guys know.
Hey, Barry sent pictures of his office in Texas.
Yes.
And look at that. Look at how cool that is.
Oh my gosh.
He's got this interior office door that looks like the West Gate of Moria, and it's got the whole design of the Elvish letters, that were carved over, the door on the West Gate of Moria. It's really cool. Take a look at that. See that, guys? Take a look at that.
Like he painted the
Oh, yeah.
That's a window. That's a window dressing. It's not even a door.
Oh, it's not even a door? Oh, yeah, that's right. Those are windows.
Those are blinds and windows.
But it looks great. You got that semicircle.
Oh man, that is
all those.
If you tweet that at us, tweet that picture at the One Ring Net on Twitter or Instagram. I'll repost that.
Yeah,
because,
send us that.
We should share
I'm gonna
that.
show the people on Instagram.
We should totally share that.
Hey, Green Zowie, it is 1 a.m. in the Azores for B. Valerius. 1 a.m. in the Azores. And 2
Sarah
a.m.
says,
in
my
Scotland.
bestie on Twitter is from Turkey. Her name is Naz.
That is so cool.
Probably pronounced differently.
That's
than
totally cool.
we use the arc of the window to bring out that shape. That's amazing. Hey,
Yeah, I dig that. Thank you, Barry.
Tweet that or Instagram at us, and I'll repost that because that looks amazing.
Yeah.
And I want your house now. Can't see it. 10 p.m. in Brazil. Wait, Brazil is that far ahead?
Oh, yeah, Pippin.
Wait, why is it 10 p.m. in Brazil? I don't. Oh, 7. Okay, I guess that makes sense. I keep forgetting that Brazil goes like way out there.
Brazil's a massive country. Yeah, it's
But
really,
I forgot
really,
it's
really
in
huge.
It's in 5 time zones away.
Well, now here we're approaching 6 o'clock, right, on the West Coast. So it's 9 o'clock in New York City. Actually, it's 9:12 right now.
2:15 p.m. in Middle Earth.
Yeah, so it's actually probably 10:12 where you are in Brazil. Yeah, Pippin, it's so awesome to have you on the show. Super, super, super awesome. And Barry, thank you for sending those pictures. I do appreciate that. And I didn't read the Mortal Engines, but I really should have. And I answered your question about the tattoo. And somebody was asking, here's another big question we got on the live 530-64 Frodo. Here on the hotline, the question is, I was discussing J.R.R. Tolkien with my mom the other day, and she asked an interesting question. This is on the hotline. This is what this person says. Quote, Tolkien wrote about these 5 powerful wizards, but why didn't the 2 blue wizards do anything significant if they were so powerful like Tolkien wrote the wizards to be? I mean, even Radagast had a role to play. Why not the blue wizards as well? Okay, Peyton. Thank you, Peyton, for that question. This is really a big mystery, and we don't know the reason why. It gives the suggestion, maybe, and I'm wandering in speculation myself right now, but Professor Tolkien does not explain why there are wizards that go missing, and they go wandering off beyond the scope of his original story. We just don't know. Well, hello, Greece. Wow, it's 4:15 in the morning in Greece.
Are they still up or are they just
Wow. Are you guys just waking up in Greece right now, or have you been awake all night? Wow, hardcore fans in Kenya, Brazil, Greece. Wow, that's amazing, up at 4:15 in the morning. But you know what? We don't know why the 2 blue wizards are even mentioned at all, because Tolkien deliberately takes them off the stage, and they never come back to be part of the stories. We don't know anything else about them, except their names. Their names are mentioned in Unfinished Tales. That's about it.
Uh-oh, the video's loading.
Oh, wow, that is so awesome. You're awake in Poland? Wow. Oh, hey. Mayasa Arwen says, no, I should be sleeping. No, you should not be sleeping. You should not be sleeping.
Do we see you?
You're on the show with us.
We hear you, but
Can
we
you
don't
see-
we don't see you.
No, we don't see you. Where are you at? What's up, Adam?
Do you see anything?
Nope,
I see a spinning wheel.
not yet.
Hold on, let me turn off our video and then turn it back on. There it is. I see
Ah, there you are, good sir.
it.
Good
Hey,
to
what's
see you.
going on? Welcome to the show.
How's it going? Good. I was the guy who just commented a little bit about Aragorn's fate.
Yes.
Perfect.
Now, the conversation between fate and free will is a conversation that everybody likes to have, especially if you're a fan of Neil Gaiman and the Sandman comic books, because that head trip comes into play when Lucifer closes out the domain of hell, kicks everybody out, and he locks the doors to hell, and he gives the key to the Dream Lord, the Sandman, and says, here, you can have this. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm not playing along with this predestined fate that they have planned for me. I'm going to go outside of creation and go and make my own creation. And it's like really part of the Lucifer Sandman subplot in Neil Gaiman's amazing story. But the way that Tolkien touches upon fate, it's also very interesting because we do see struggles in our favorite characters struggling against what they think is predestination. What do you think of this, my friend? Tell me.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, Turin is one of the best examples.
Yes.
Yes. Everything just happens to him. It snowballs from his ancestors. The Morgoth hates their guts, and he ends up with the sword and kills Beleg and all that.
Yep, it's true. But, yeah, Aragorn's main concern when he's confronted with an immediate comparison to, you know, the tale of Beren and Lúthien is him thinking to himself, exactly as you pointed out. It was very adroit of you to point that out. I can see the look in Viggo's eyes that he's wondering how closely the walls are getting around him to entrap him, you know?
Yeah.
And that was something that was so beautiful to put in The Lord of the Rings. It didn't need to be there, but I'm really glad that it was in there in the extended edition. And I only wish that The Hobbit had had more of those moments that are very fine threads. Very fine threads. Mm-hmm. What do you think?
Well, actually, this is what I want to talk about, actually. This is totally unrelated, but a few weeks ago
I
commented.
Bring it.
What I didn't love about The Hobbit was the relationship between Toriel and Keely or Feely, whoever it was, totally removed all the gravitas between Legolas and Gimli's relationship.
Oh, you were the fellow who mentioned that, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which I thought was probably the most annoying part of The Hobbit, personally, because Tolkien spent so much time creating that so specifically, going back to when the dwarves betrayed Thingol, right? When he wanted them to put Silmaril into that jewel or whatever, and the dwarves killed him and then took it, and that, you know, just ended everything for the elves. The biggest elven kingdom falls, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So he just spent so much time, and it was such a, you know, hopeful kind of message, and a message that I think the world could use right now. And then The Hobbit was just like, you know, none of that.
Yeah, I hear you on that. But you know, it wouldn't be the first time that we've had an interspecies romance. I mean, look at Thingol and Melian. You couldn't get much more of an interspecies romance than someone who's a spiritual, angelic being and an elf. I mean, that's talk about way out of the bounds of your dating pool. But yeah, I get where you're going with that. But yeah, you know, but to see the Tauriel Keely thing, it really does what you just said. It makes you wonder that it immediately makes you wonder why couldn't these different cultural races have responded to each other in a nicer way before now? If all it took was a moonstone and a lot of flirting and a bad joke about what I've got hidden in my trousers, if that's all it took, then we would have had healing between the dwarves and the elves a lot longer, a lot further back. You know, I'm just saying, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really glad you pointed that out, by the way.
Not to mention that Toriel is supposed to be descended from what's his name? Not the elves from Valinor, basically, and not the elves. Well, let's see. Is Mirkwood a descendant of the Doriath kingdom? Indirectly. I don't remember.
I believe Tauriel identified herself as a Sylvan elf, and the Sylvan elves were the ones who never saw the light of the two trees, and they never went further. Yeah, is that right? Unless all of my experience and understanding of Tolkien has just suddenly gone out the window, you know. I'm trying to keep it straight up here. Yeah, it's very interesting because the screenwriters gave us an opportunity to listen to Thranduil talk down to her as if she was a lesser being, and he kind of does. Mm-hmm. He is condescending to her, and at the very, very, very end, the fact that he is the last man standing over her while she's weeping and crying is a nice touch. It is a nice touch that he is brought to some other emotional understanding, but what I missed in the film was that neither Thranduil nor Tauriel were present at the funeral. Even the extended edition, that bothered me. That bothered me.
Yeah.
By the time the extended edition of The Hobbit was over, I can only assume that she's still up there at the top of the waterfall on Ravenhill, crying her eyes out for all eternity. What else happens to her next?
Yeah.
We missed that.
Yeah.
I really did miss that. And I think there was an opportunity there for that subject that we're talking about right now, about healing or some understanding between these races. Yeah, I think that would have been a good opportunity for Fran and Philippa to put that in there. I think they missed an opportunity there. You know?
Yeah. I do think Toriel, that would have completed their plot a lot better, like you said, but Toriel even still, I think, doesn't speak as well for the elves as Legolas does, because Legolas has been around, we presume, way longer. He was in the Fall of Gondolin, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, so he has more of a history with the elven kingdoms than the Sylvan elves do, who I thought the movie actually portrayed them as much more civilized than what The Hobbit does.
Yes.
But that could also be kind of jaded memories due to the animated Hobbit, where they're living in the empty caves and all that.
Yes. Well, in the animated Hobbit, and this is my last thought, it couldn't get much worse than German director Otto Preminger playing the Elven King, talking with this thick German accent, and he's like, "Why did you dwarves try to attack?" He's just so insane that Otto Preminger was the voice of the Elven King. I mean, I love his directing, I love his films, but that was a bad casting choice to make him the Elven King. So, you know what? Michelangelo Frazier is here in the Instagram chat, and he just said, "What? Tauriel doesn't show up at the funeral? Oh, I've got to come clean. I never watched the extended edition of The Hobbit." Well, you should watch it because it's way better. It's much more fun. So, yeah, dude, we're going to have to close this call because we've got a couple of other things to wrap up before the end of the show. But I'm so glad you came on board. Any closing thoughts?
Nope, that's all I had to say.
Okay. I am suddenly reminded, since we were talking about fate, predestination, and fate, remember Princess Mononoke, that wonderful film by Miyazaki? Remember what the wise woman of the village, she says, at the very beginning of the film, she says, "You cannot alter your fate, Prince Ashitaka, but if you so choose, you may rise to meet it." Boom. Wisdom. Wisdom. All right. Thank you, buddy, for being part of our show.
Yep, thanks a bunch.
Good to see you, and we'll catch up with you next week.
Sounds good.
Excellent, buddy. All right. So, oh, yeah.
Oh, we got a good question from the from the text message. Quick question: do you have any suggestions for someone who wants to get more involved in the Tolkien fan community, specifically in New York City?
Yes, sure. We've got lots of ideas. If you want to be involved in the Tolkien fan community, then you find out if there's an existing chapter of the Tolkien Society. See if they're in the New York area.
Yeah, look at the Tolkien Society.
Look at the Tolkien Society first. And then look at our message boards.
Get your tickets to New York Comic Con, because we always have a booth and we always do a panel at New York Comic Con, and that's where all the local Tolkien people in New York City meet up. We always do a pub moot, which is always well attended.
That's a great way to network and meet people like face to face.
Yeah, that's not until October, November.
That's right. No, that's in Labor Day weekend. That's in September.
Is it? No, New York Comic Con?
New York Comic Con is over Labor Day weekend, isn't it? Or is it later? Oh, it's in October.
Or November. I forget. Anyway.
I'm sorry, Dragon Con is Labor Day. Yeah. Dragon Con is Labor Day. New York Comic Con is later.
So go on our message boards, because it just say, "Hey, I'm from New York. Where do I get started?" And our local ringers know all the little bookstores where all the cool little Hobbit fans and Lord of the Rings fans do it. Brittany Larson says, "I want to see more extended editions of The Hobbit. There has to be more." I do too. I wish they would just edit it for comedy. I want to see that. Kaylin says, "Saw a documentary on YouTube on how Christian the Lord of the Rings is." Yes, we've actually had some wonderful conversations with pastors and priests and religious leaders, how they work Tolkien and thing.
Yeah, Professor Tolkien's Catholic belief system hugely informed The Lord of the Rings, and there are many, many part and parcels of The Lord of the Rings that really do illustrate Tolkien's belief system. And it's very much part of it.
I got
yes.
a question for you, Cliff,
Yes.
to close out the show.
Yes.
It's kind of been heavy, like because my friend, I've had a couple friends. Actually, I've had 3 friends in the last 2 weeks. They lost their mother or grandmother.
That's very sad.
Just as natural thing, you know, either disease or just natural causes, whatever. Nothing chaotic like a car accident. And they asked me what is something that they can get through Tolkien to help them in their grieving process, because there's so much death in Tolkien, and he doesn't shy away from, you know, Gandalf falling, and like he doesn't shy away from it.
He doesn't shy away from it. No, Professor Tolkien in his letters actually openly said that The Lord of the Rings is about, quote, "The Lord of the Rings is about death and the pursuit of deathlessness," unquote, from the professor's own words. So yeah, there are many meditations within the work about that metaphysical issue.
Huh.
So what do you find in Tolkien for someone who is bereaved? Well,
are there certain letters? Is there a certain book that touches on this, you know, losing a loved one, or anything like that?
Well, I'm not sure if there's a particular letter or an academic point that he made in his letters
Is
about that.
Is there a specific part of the Silmarillion that maybe focuses on
what? Well, Michelangelo Frazier is asking me, what does that mean, the pursuit of deathlessness?
That's a good question.
Illustrated in the way, a great way to succinctly illustrate this. Do you remember the power
Thank you, Emily.
Thank you, Emily. Do you know the power in the Elven Ring that Galadriel had? She used Nenya. The name of the ring was Nenya, and the pursuit of deathlessness became a major component of what the elves in Lothlorien were doing. The elves of Lothlorien, and especially Galadriel, with her power and the ring of adamant that she had, Nenya. While Gandalf had Narya, and Lord Elrond of Rivendell, he had Vilya. Those are the 3 rings. But the elves were pursuing a deathlessness, a condition of unchanging time. And that is why Lothlorien is the way it is. It's the reason why Peter Jackson slows everything down, and everybody in Lothlorien seems to be moving in slow motion. You notice that?
Mm-hmm.
That's why everything in the book comes to a halt after they escape the mines of Moria and go into Lothlorien, because the elves within that realm of Caras Galadhon, the heart of elvendom on earth, the way that Haldir describes it, they're supposed to leave Middle-earth and they're supposed to go over to Valinor. But instead of experiencing the deathlessness of their, immortal life in Valinor, instead of doing that, they were creating a mini pocket of a mini Valinor there within the woods of Lothlorien. And that pursuit of deathlessness, the pursuit of timelessness, is, according to Tolkien, one of the major sins of the elves. The elves are committing a sin against the process of time and nature and death.
Yeah.
Because time, nature, and death, and the process of this is supposed to be part of the natural world.
So let me ask you...
And the elves are building a mini kingdom. Instead of going to the real Valinor, they're building a little mini Valinor in Lothlorien and pretending to live in a pocket of timelessness. And when you read the book, Professor Tolkien has a way of saying time seemed to slow down during the weeks and weeks that the Fellowship stayed in Lothlorien. So yeah, there is a lot to that. But you're starting to get the idea. It's a metaphysical sin for the elves to not obey the metaphysical edict that they have to leave the mortal world and go to Valinor. where they're supposed to live out the rest of their days, because they have a different fate.
So let me ask you this:
than
what
men.
what are the difference in
So
the
yeah,
elves?
there's a
then?
lot there.
Are those are the only the elves of Lothlorien? Are they the only elves that pursued this? What is the difference between
No,
the
it's also
Mirkwood
being
elves
pursued in
and
Rivendell.
Rivendell.
Yes, yeah, we're using
What
Vilya.
about Mirkwood?
In Mirkwood, well, there's none of the elves in Mirkwood have a ring, and many of those elves.
Thranduil?
Thranduil was one of the higher elves who was taking command of some of the Sylvan elves who never saw the light of Valinor, and so there's a mixture of like elven subtypes
So what
there.
are the difference between those three sets of elves?
But there's political differences. The main difference is that there's no magic elven ring involved in Mirkwood's kingdom. In the woodland realm, there is no power of that type keeping things in a hermetic seal of
So
time.
what's the difference between the Lothlorien and Rivendell elves? Just political difference? Like, I want to be in control? No, I want to be in control?
Family lineage, you know, and
Elrond's like, I want to be the boss, and Galadriel's like, no, bro.
she just wants to hide out.
Oh,
Galadriel,
she wants to hide
she wants
out.
to hide out and live in this sustained, like it's like being mummified in time.
But
That's,
Elrond
you
wants
know,
to fight alongside men, and Elrond
Elrond is much more involved than the people in Lothlorien.
But
yes,
from a physical aspect, like they're the same.
Yeah.
Let's just call it the same race.
they're Noldorin. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they're
But-
Noldor. Yeah,
But the ones in Mirkwood have not seen the light, and so they're like
most of
different.
them. Most of them haven't.
Yeah.
Most of them have not. Okay,
Does that
so
make sense?
yeah, there's a whole lot going on there. Michelangelo, you're awesome. Okay, so everybody who's in the chat room, all right, this is really a fantastic opening to that conversation. But if you're going to look for solace or for some comfort for someone who's losing a family member,
Yes.
then they need look no further than, you know, Gandalf's speech that he gives to Pippin in Minas Tirith, which is to say that Gandalf at that time of the story had experienced death at the hands of the Balrog, but then he was sent back. He was sent back, and he uses those words to finish the job that he hadn't finished yet. Yeah, see?
It's just
Je-
another path.
Thank you, Jonelle Robinson. I'm sorry if I said your name wrong.
Well,
I adore that speech too.
this has been a wonderful
I adore
conversation.
that speech too.
We hardly ever start the show with an idea of where it's going to go, and we've ended on a conversation that I want to continue because it suddenly got really great and really deep when we were talking about the deathlessness.
Yes.
We're talking about the history of the elves and the differences. I think this is something interesting. But anyway, thank you for joining us. We're here every Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific from Meltdown Comics
We
in
are.
Hollywood.
One last thought. The speech that Gandalf has that is so emotional and powerful is not represented in the real book as dialogue to any character. It's just the book itself where Professor Tolkien is explaining what Frodo saw after he left the Grey Havens and went with Galadriel and
Yeah.
Gandalf, and they went back oversea to the world beyond and to Valinor. But that speech seems to be so powerful and beautiful and emotional because it is actual text in the book that belongs to the narrator of The Lord of the Rings. And the writers could not miss it because, you know, Peter Jackson and Fran and Philippa, they knew what they were doing, and they put that beautiful dialogue from the book and they made it into Gandalf dialogue because nobody but Ian McKellen could deliver that speech the way it was, and it was extraordinary. And that's where you have to look for comfort, is in the Grey Havens in the last chapter of the book. That's where you look for that.
You heard it here first. That's a great input. Anyway, we're here every Tuesday. You can follow him on Twitter at QuickBeam2000. You're
Yeah.
also on Instagram. You post once in a while on Instagram.
I
don't
do.
you?
And he beheld white shores, and beyond them a far green country under a swift sunrise. It's making me cry. I love it. Making me play Misty for me, Clint Eastwood, because I'm getting misty here. Getting a little misty. All right. You guys are awesome, Sauce. It's really great to have you. What's happening next Tuesday? We don't know.
We don't know. It'll be after WonderCon because WonderCon is this weekend.
So come and join us in Anaheim.
10:30 on Sunday morning.
Yes.
Don't go to church. Come to the Church of Tolkien. at
Come to the
WonderCon.
church. Yeah. Take me to church. I love that song. That's a great song.
Yes.
Okay. We love you guys. Thank you for being part of our show. And as always, take good care of yourselves.
Keep the faith.
Be good to
Oh,
yourselves.
wait, no, that's Tavis Smiley.
Be good to yourselves, because generally nobody else
And
will.
party on, dudes.
Party
Oh, wait,
on.
no, that's Bill and Ted.
Party on, Garth, and be good to
How
yourselves.
come we don't have a signing off salutation? We've never come up with a signing off salutation.
I have my own sign-off that I've used as QuickBeam. If you want to find me on Twitter and on Instagram, please do. It is QuickBeam2000. QUICK
Yeah, but Tavis Smiley always says,
BEAM
keep the faith.
2000. And my sign-off was always much too hasty. QuickBeam. Because he was the hasty ent. He was the fastest young ent.
I get it.
I was much too hasty. Bye, y'all. We love you. Are we done?
I think we're done.
Are we through?
Instagram's still on.
We love you, Instagram. Thanks for being with us.
I love Instagram. You guys are awesome, and you guys from everywhere. Bri from Brazil. Follow you next time.
Hey, thank you, Andre. Andre, you're awesome. Excellent to have you from Brazil. We have had the biggest international crowd ever.